piece is actually an agenda item, so you don't have to speak as part of non-agenda, you can actually wait for that. I appreciate it.
That would be a problem.
All right, I'd like to regular meeting of the Public Art Commission to come to order in the City Hall Council Chambers, Public Redondo Street, Redondo Beach, California. Let's do a roll call.
For my mic. There it goes. Commissioner Cagle,
Here.
Commissioner Christian Kelly, absent. Commissioner Klein,
Here.
Commissioner Lappin,
Here.
Commissioner Melendez,
Here.
Chairperson Pucci,
Present.
and Commissioner Sharma.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Great. All right, let us stand and join in the salute of the flag. Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. I'll move to item D, approve order of agenda. Let's begin with the order of agenda. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
A motion to approve the agenda.
Second, great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Moving on to item E, discuss and provide input on the city's fiscal year 2023 to 2024 budget, July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024, for museum expenses and projects. Pass it over to,
That shouldn't say museum expenses and projects. I'm sorry about that. It's general arts and culture expenses.
okay.
Let's see, I think I have a couple of slides. If you want to, that's the transit center. Hold on a second. So this year, the City Council will be holding 4 public hearings to discuss the budget. And you can see the dates here. There'll be, I guess the next one will be on May 30th, and then June 6th, June 13th, and June 20th. The proposed budget is available at this website, and you can click on any of those individual links to see details of the department budgets. One of the things of note for us in cultural services is that the city manager is recommending a new full-time position at the Performing Arts Center. So if that comes to pass, then that means I will have more time to work on public arts. Hopefully. That ends my report. So, but the city manager was hoping that he'd be able to be here today to hear your comments, if you have any, about the budget. You're in a good position in that the Public Art Fund is dedicated for the work that you do, so it's not like you have to fight every year to secure funding for your projects. A bigger issue for us is having the staff to make all the things happen that you want to see happen. But if you have, if there are other things that you want to discuss, I'll, take those back to Cameron, and I'm sure he'll, talk to the city manager about them.
Is there anything that we can do in regards to adding in any kind of support for funds going towards that hiring of a manager for that?
Well, for sure, yeah. I mean, if you want to attend, any of the public hearings, and during the public comment section, state that you're in support of the city manager's proposed budget. And if you want more detailed information about the specific things, well, it's really easy to find them. If you go to community services, there's more funds. They're actually allocating funds for Heritage Court to improve like to buy the new benches and to fix the fountain area. And there's money to support the collections and exhibits in the museum, and there's money to restore a lot of the budget cuts to the Performing Arts Center that happened during the COVID years. And they're all, very clearly laid out as decision packets in that community services section. But the best thing you could do would be to show up at a public meeting and thank the city manager and let the council know that you're in support of everything, or whatever of the things are that they're proposing. I'm very pleased. I mean, we got, I think, almost everything that we asked for. So
Great.
Hopefully if city council will, I mean, we were modest in what we asked for, but
Perfect.
yeah.
So it's already stated within there. It's just showing support for this particular budget. Okay.
May I comment, please?
Yes.
Of the public meetings, it looked like there were ones that were covering several different facets of the budget. Is there one that's better for us to attend than another?
I would say operating budgets, so the ones on the 6th and the 20th would probably be better than capital improvement.
You mean the 6th and the 30th? Is it the 30th or the 20th?
It says the 20th. June 6th and June 20th?
Okay, June 20th, okay.
And let's see, May 30th. May 30th would be fine as well, but the 6th and the 20th are
Operating budgets?
operating budgets, and they're there might be some things in the CIP budget that affects the museum or the Performing Arts Center, but they would be continuations of projects that are already in the work, I think.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
so operating budget would be the ones.
Thank you. I also have another comment about something that I believe that the Public Art Commission would like to see in the city budget. And because the historic library is not going to be used as a creative arts center, that does not mean that a creative arts center could not be somewhere else in the city. And there are many spaces that are coming up that the city is going to be looking at in terms of renovation and expansion, particularly around the King Harbor area, that could possibly lend themselves to that function. Additionally, Chair Pucci has mentioned, and we've discussed several times, the possibility of putting banners down the Artesia corridor, which would not fall under the Public Art Commission budget. And if we could get the city to look at that as a project to include in their budget, They could put all sorts of banners that would highlight the amenities that Redondo Beach has, the Performing Arts Center, the Historic Museum, the Seaside Lagoon, the special events, the pier, Riviera Village. The city has a new logo that they're developing right now, which is also, there's a survey you can take online to comment on what you would like to see on that. So these are all things that would lend themselves well to getting on the radar for the budget.
Great. Thank you for that insight. Does anyone else have any comments about this section? Do we need to open it up to public comment?
Yeah, you should have public comment. On any agenda item, you should have
Okay, great.
public comment.
E-comments or public comments on this item?
There are no public comments at this time.
Okay. Can I have a motion to receive and file?
I'll give a motion to receive and file.
Okay, Commissioner Klein,
I'll second it.
second. Commissioner Sharma, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, moving on to E, blue folder items. Additional backup material. Blue folder items are additional backup material to administrative reports and are public comments received after the printing and distribution of the agenda packet for receive and file. Do we have any blue? No blue folder items? Okay. Moving on then to, I guess, blue folder items 2 is how it's broken down. So I guess neither for those. Okay, so
Consent calendar? Is that next?
that'll be, but do I close out E?
Yeah,
Yeah, so we close out E as no further comments. Make an additional motion to receive and file?
I don't think you have to for the
Okay,
blue folder.
since
yeah,
there's no blue
because
folder.
there wasn't anything.
Okay, great. So moving on to the consent calendar, business items, except for those formally noticed for public hearing or discussions, are assigned to the consent calendar. The commission members may request that the consent calendar items be removed, discussed, and acted upon separately. Items removed from the consent calendar will be taken up under the excluded consent calendar section below. Those items remaining on the consent calendar will be approved in one motion following oral communications. Does anyone wish to remove anything? No? Okay. Moving on to F1, approval of minutes, March 22nd, or, yes. March 22nd, minutes, does anyone have anything?
So the minutes weren't available at the time that we published the,
That's
so,
what I was gonna ask.
yeah. So we should have them for the next meeting.
Okay. Affidavit of posting. Did we have any?
You don't have to, you could pass that, it's outside.
Oh, okay, great. Then moving on to F3, the Public Art Fund report. So I'll turn that back over to Gary Margolis, our Cultural Arts Manager.
I'm just finding it here. So the balance of the Public Art Fund as of May 18th is $963,746.23. Since our last meeting, it looks like, let's see, that was in March? March. So since March, we had a deposit of $3,000 and a deposit of $9,278.36. And then we had one expense, which was the $700 that we paid to the Western State Arts Federation for the membership in the cafe public art jurying system and our first call using that system.
Okay. Does anyone have any comments about the Public Art Fund report? Do we have any e-comments or anyone in the audience that would like to speak upon that?
public comment at this time.
Okay, if that's so, then can I have a motion to receive and file the consent calendar, including approval of minutes and public art fund report?
I'll make a motion to receive and file the consent calendar with the caveat that the March 26th minutes will be on our next meeting, included in our next meeting agenda.
Okay. Can I get a second?
I second it.
Commissioner Cagle seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Okay. So moving on to item G, excluded consent calendar items.
I have a comment.
Okay.
Can you explain to me why some of the updates that have been typically being included in the director's report are not, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. I jumped ahead to I, but I'm going to ask the question of why some of the items in the director's report are not contained in the items continued from previous agenda. And I beg your pardon, I jumped ahead to another thing. So
Okay.
I'll take that back till we get to that point.
Okay. So at this point, though, there's nothing for the excluded consent calendar items? No? Okay. So we just keep moving on.
Well, I'll answer that question later, or?
Well, now we're in number I, so.
Well, I didn't know that was the standard way that the things were supposed to happen. I think what would be helpful for me would be if we could have a regularly scheduled meeting with an executive committee that would include the chair and whoever else to prepare the agenda so that I do it in a way that meets your expectations.
Well, the only reason I'm asking that question is because the things that are included in the director's report, we can't see on the agenda item what those are. And there are many things like we should be getting updates on things that we've talked about that are in motion right now, like the utility boxes and the mural project at Catalina and Gertruda and the Ito family open space. And, on down the line, there's many projects that are currently in some place in the works somewhere that we should be getting regular updates and reports on so that everybody on this commission knows exactly what's happening. And because the director's report doesn't detail anything in there, there's no way to know if that's going to be discussed or not. So I think it would be helpful to put it somewhere. If it doesn't go there, it could go under the items for discussion, and it can just be a continuing update on current projects. But at least then everybody'd be able to see, and we'd always know where we are in process. I think that would be very helpful,
Okay.
wherever you choose to put it.
Yeah, okay, I can do that.
Thank you.
It's a good one.
Great.
Thank you.
So item H is public participation on non-agenda items. This section is intended to provide members of the public the opportunity to comment on any subject that does not appear on the agenda for action. This section is limited to 30 minutes. Each speaker will be afforded 3 minutes to address the commission. Each speaker will be permitted to speak only once. Do we have any public participation? Or e-comment?
No public comment at this time.
Okay. Then we will close that out. Do I make a motion to receive and file, even though there was nothing there?
There's nothing to receive.
Yeah, there's nothing to receive and file. Okay. Item I, continued from previous agendas. That's
There's
what you
nothing-
already
Yeah,
spoke
there's
of.
nothing, yeah.
And then J, items for discussion prior to action. J1, discussion of possible referral to an ADHOC committee regarding how to provide City Council with its requested recommendations for a permanent public art installation celebrating and honoring Redondo Beach's LGBTQ community. We'll turn it over to Gary.
Okay. So if you remember at the last commission meeting, I talked to you about I think at that time it was an upcoming agenda item for city council regarding a contest to design a pride flag that would be specific for Redondo Beach, right? Remember that? Okay. And that ultimately the submissions would come to you for a recommendation and then go to city council for a final right decision. Well, the city council decided not to move forward with that project, but part of the motion that moved that project forward also included some kind of a permanent public art installation that would honor the Pride community. So that's what's on your agenda today, to begin planning, how that might happen. I believe we do have some speakers here today on this item, and the recommendation from staff would be to either use one of the committees that you already have to meet with the Pride community and bring back a report at your next meeting, or to create an ad hoc committee that would only be formed for the purposes of addressing this particular issue. But what City Council and the Pride community are both very interested in is making sure that there's plenty of input from those folks who would be most, have the greatest interest or the greatest stakeholders, in this kind of a public arts commission.
Just to, I guess, refresh my memory, is this then something that the public art would move forward with finding the artists and putting out the call to artists?
Yes.
Okay, great. Does anyone have any?
I had a question. Is it a, what am I trying to say? A painting, or is it a
Sculpture?
sculpture?
Yeah, no,
It's open to whatever comes to the
Right.
committee.
Okay,
Right.
where would, do we have a place where
That all
No.
has to be.
all of it?
all of that would be, discussed with the community and, brought back here and then taken to city council. And I think we have some people here today who have some ideas about that.
Okay.
Great. Can we have any public comments for this section? Please come forward.
First member is Frank Hansel from Redondo Beach, District 5. So you have 3 minutes?
Yes, thank you. Hi, I'm Frank Hansel. I live in District 5. I've not been to the Public Art Commission before, so thank you for allowing me to speak to you tonight. I and Jonathan Svetko, who is also here tonight, both spoke to the council back in March about their resolution to recognize June as Pride Month and raise the Pride flag this year at City Hall. So that is in the works. They also, though, expressed a desire to establish some more permanent public display of the city's welcome to the LGBTQ community. And an adjunct item there as well was a suggestion to the Historical Commission to research the city's LGBTQ history, because in fact we do have some. So in the meantime, in the interim, we have actually tried to identify people in the community that are interested in this topic, namely public art. And so we probably have at least a dozen or more individuals who said, yes, we'd be willing to meet and brainstorm and try to think about potential places and manners in which public art could be used to demonstrate the city's welcome. And in fact, we've already held a brainstorming meeting with a subset of those people and have tried to generate some ideas. So I'm really here just as an interested party and someone who lives in the community, who has connections in the community that you're trying to reach, and I would be very happy to help and assist in any way I can to move this topic forward in the commission. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you so much. We could always use support from the community with certain topics. Do we have any other?
Mr. Jonathan Svetko from Redondo Beach, District 1. 3 minutes, sir.
Thank you very much. Good evening. As you mentioned, Jonathan Speckel here, longtime resident. This is something very dear to my heart as being part of a member of the community here for the LGBT community. Growing up here in Redondo Beach in high school, it was respite to have the Gay Straight Alliance there and to kind of grow up and figure out, who you are as an individual and have the community support on that. I'm blessed that I get to be a part of this community. I would love to give back on the whole stuff when it comes to this project here. I want to say thank you to Mr. Margolis on putting the efforts that we did on this, some context as to what we have been hoping to achieve here that I think would be a little bit helpful to what we want to do next steps on there. We had brought up the idea of doing something to recognize this within Redondo Beach, similar to what we've seen now in our neighbors in Hermosa Beach and Manhattan Beach do. In the effort to try to do that, while we still had Councilmember Horvath still at the council there, we had brought up a motion to potentially look into raising the flag, but doing this project here that we're discussing here tonight, something more longer term, having an opportunity to actually connect with the community, understand what we would like, how we can bring, our skill set as well into this stuff to kind of, just give back, obviously. In all that kind of haste, I think that we tried to do, and the intent was to do something good, but we kind of lost an opportunity to really have the conversation. So I'm really hoping that in establishing this ad hoc committee, we can actually engage better with the LGBT community here in Redondo Beach and learn from each other on how we can actually do something for the city akin to what our neighbors did, as I mentioned as well. In that process, of course, I want to make myself available. As Frank had mentioned earlier on that, we have a number of residents that we know here that are part of this already. They're very eager to give some feedback on this, have dreamed of all kinds of ideas, but we don't know how the resources and step goes. So we look forward to working with you and seeing how we can engage on that. My husband's here tonight who will be speaking on to some of the stuff that hopefully he can provide in part of this process. But with that, I want to say thank you all so very much for letting us be a part of this conversation and look forward to seeing what next steps we can take together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Could he tell us what the projects Hermosa Beach and Manhattan Beach have done?
Oh, yeah. Could you please tell us what the projects are in Hermosa Beach and Manhattan Beach? I know the lifeguard tower for Hermosa.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar. What did Manhattan Beach do?
So Manhattan Beach actually, down by the pier, they ended up actually painting the sidewalk. So they did the rainbow colors, if you will, for the sidewalk on over there. And they also ended up doing a similar art project around the gazebo in Polywog Park. So those are really public installations on there. I think we come here with very open mindset as to what this could be. So be it from sculptures, be it to artwork, be it, all kind of stuff. But we'd like to see what's great and have the conversation where it would be best in the city. Amongst our conversations, we've identified so many different spots that we'd like to see things in there, but we understand it's a process. So that's where things are.
And Hermosa Beach painted a lifeguard tower?
They did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
And that
right
was in
next to the
partnership with
pier.
the County of Los Angeles as well, just because of how that all kind of works out. But, however it works, we can work on those things.
Great.
Thank you.
Do we have any more comments?
Well, I think we should paint the ocean.
Mr. Michael Long from Redondo Beach, District 1.
Hi, good evening, everybody.
3 minutes, sir.
I just wanted to also just, volunteer my expertise. I have extensive background in creative, both design and all that, and I just want to really be a part of this too, as being a part of both communities. And I just want to throw in my hat, and as Jonathan already spoke, we're able and willing to help with this process as much as possible. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you. Do any of the commissioners have any questions in regards to this project? Okay. I think it's a great idea. I believe the information is that we could help by creating a subcommittee for them to have a direct correlation with the public art. And then we would have to come up with a budget to see, because it seems as though that public art will be funding the project.
Well, I mean, like you mentioned earlier, I mean, the big questions are, where will it be and what will it be? And then, right, how much do you want to allocate for that? So, I mean, those would be the three big questions to bring back to this commission for approval, and then it would have to go to city council.
Okay. Is there anyone on the commission that would like to, I guess, start a subcommittee or be a representative for this particular project?
I'm already into.
You're into,
I'm already
yeah.
spread.
Yeah.
Well, then staff would meet with the community and bring it back to you.
Okay. And then how would, then we would move forward with like what you guys were able to come up with as far as location and.
Hopefully, yeah.
Great. I mean, I know I'm on a commission or a subcommittee, but I wouldn't mind helping to see what we could do as far as moving forward with that. So, yeah, I don't exactly know how to word that for moving forward.
Well, so it would be a motion to approve the chair and staff meeting with the community to develop a proposal for a permanent Pride, a public art commission that would come back to this commission at a future meeting for discussion and possible approval.
Okay.
I make the motion as worded by Mr. Margolis.
I'll second it.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Okay. We will move forward with that.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. All right, so then we move on to J2, discussion of selection of artists for pre-qualified mural artist roster. Round 2.
Okay, so it's your last
make a comment?
meeting.
I'm back.
Wait, oh, sorry. Do you want to go back?
Yeah, back one.
What was your question or comment?
I never thought about doing any kind of thing for a minority or a diversity or group or anything like that. Since it got brought to the table, there's a lot of other diverse sectors in our community. How neat would it be to have some sort of diversity and equity type project that is inclusive of all things like women, veterans, disabled, like, something maybe even bigger, not just that. I mean, I think it's great, but there's a lot of other, I love that they're coming back, that this group's coming to the table and they feel passionate about it. I'm just wondering if we, just for future, just to think about, because it got brought to the table and got my ticker going.
Sure.
You know.
I think with moving forward with our art pool that we're growing, there's going to be lots of opportunities for moving forward pieces that tap onto what you're.
It could be just a theme. It could be a theme for something that we choose.
For
Okay.
sure. Okay, moving forward now to J2, discussion and selection of artists for pre-qualified mural artists. Passing it back to.
Thank you. So at the last meeting, you approved, or you went through, I think it was 13 at the time, applications that had come in, and selected most of them to be included in the roster. And then you identified 3 plus an alternate to be invited to compete for the commission at the Public Works building. Since then, 59 more have come in, and I think some of you have expressed to me some opinions about a more expedited way to deal with this than the way we did it at the last meeting. So however you want to proceed with reviewing these and including them or not including them is fine with me. That's up to you to decide that process. I have access to the images if you want to see any of them. We can, but it's not a requirement that you go through all 59 applications and do a yes or no.
Okay. I don't believe that we need to go through all of them. I would hope that all the remaining commissioners as well feel the same way of not having to review them, since we did take a vote. I believe the last meeting, we were specifically trying to narrow down for the Gertrude and Catalina project. So that's why we may have taken that additional step to who we were asking to actually move forward with that particular mural. I would like to suggest moving forward that when we do receive more applicants coming in for our pool, that we do our scorecard, but we don't add anyone to our pool that we would have as a 1 or a 2. I think it would expedite to move the masses of qualified artists that are talented and qualified through, so we keep building our pool. But if we're all doing our own due diligence by reviewing the applications and seeing that either their style or abilities to execute a mural are not there, I believe all of us would most likely put them at a 1 or a 2. So I would like to make the motion that moving forward, that we accept all applications.
With an average score of 2 or less? I mean, 2 or more?
2 or more,
Yeah.
yes.
So for this particular group of
Can
56.
Can I interject for just a moment? So I'm not quite sure that's the correct way to do that, and I'd like to propose something. I agree with 100% with what you're saying. I'd like to suggest an alternate way to do that. I think the rating system is flawed in that if an artist has applied or submitted and they meet the criteria of the RFQ, and their artwork is subjective, whether you like it or not, it's irrelevant. One person may like one thing, one person may like another, but if they meet the criteria, then I believe that we should accept all of those artists into our pool, and we should just receive and file them. And then only the exceptions that we can bring to the table. So if we feel that an artist has not met the criteria, then we can talk about that. And then there's no rating, there's no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're either in or they're out. And then when we move on to a specific project, later, when we're going to be drawing from that pool, each commissioner can select however many we decide, so let's pick 3 as an arbitrary number, and bring their 3 preferred for that specific particular project, and then we can go through and vote on everything. But since we've all reviewed everything, and most of the artists have met the criteria of the RFQ, there's no reason to exclude anybody from the pool. There are many artists in the pool who have other mediums that they work in other than just mural paint. Some of them do sculptures, some of them do benches, some of them do tile and ground art. So, and there's many things that we can draw on for future other projects other than a specific mural, and to have that as a resource, I feel is invaluable. So to me, I would have the motion be that we receive and file all artists who have submitted into the pool, with the exception of those that the commissioners feel have not met the RFQ criteria.
Okay. I agree.
My comment on that would be the RFQ is again for a particular project that we
No.
Oh,
No,
it
not
was for
anymore.
a pool thing.
This is just the pool now. We've already made our choices for the
Gertrude Wall.
the
Okay.
Gertrude Catalina.
Okay.
This is just to,
Qualifications, request for qualifications.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then we gave them a dollar amount, and that was based on our Gertrude Wall.
Yeah, that's a specific project.
Yeah.
That's just for that
That's
different.
different. Yeah.
Those 3 artists.
Okay.
Will get the dollar amount that
Yeah,
we put
otherwise we are
aside.
doing double work anyways.
Yeah, this is just to accept the applicants to our pool of artists.
Perfect.
Yeah, I tend to agree with Susan. I think we just leave everybody in there because we might, like, but you know, we discussed this a little bit earlier. I think, you know, right now we're not looking for stick people, but maybe someone does stick people. So we're not looking at them now, but we might look at them for another project. So I'd rather have them already there in the pool so we can just grab from them instead of have to do another pull.
So would the committee like to accept every artist that applies to our pool? Commissioner Sharma,
Yes.
Commissioner Lappin.
I would say that there were one or two artists in this round of submittals that I felt did not meet the qualifications. And for me, I would exclude those, but we don't have to do that. I mean, we don't have to. It's up to the commission how they would like to proceed. If you want to receive and file everybody, it's just like the utility boxes. In the utility boxes, we accepted all the artwork that came in, but whether we place them somewhere or not is a different story. It's the next stage of whatever we're doing. So it's very similar to that, to the way we handled that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was my comment for the last meeting
Yeah.
on our thing. And so my question was, what happens to the people we reject? Do you go back to them and say, we are not accepting you in our pool? I mean, what does that happen? Because I know we were not confident about one or two last time. And
I believe they were added to our pool. They just weren't invited to make a
no,
rendering.
we invited only 3 last time for
Yeah.
our thing. But then there was one for sure, which we did not include in our pool itself. So that was my question, and it was meant for last time too. What happens to those applicants? I mean, do you go back to them and say, we are not in the pool? Otherwise, last time what we did, and going back like 2 times, choosing and then choosing again, it was redoing the same thing, you know, reinventing the wheel kind of thing. So my question was, do you go back to the applicants saying that we are not in the pool, or they are like oblivious about what's happening?
No,
Oblivious.
at some,
I think oblivious. Right?
no, at some point, I would notify the folks that were not accepted to the
Okay.
pool to let them know. I haven't done that yet, but
Okay.
That's a lot of work. When you think about it, you know, when you apply for a job, you send your resume, and if you hear from them, you know they're interested in you. If you don't, you have to make the assumption that you didn't make the cut for some reason, and maybe you want to apply again when you change your resume.
well, but I haven't contacted the folks that were accepted either.
Right. And the only people that should probably be contacted are the people that get brought in front to submit for something or to draw plans. Like the only people that.
Let me ask you folks, those of you who are artists and do this on a regular basis, what would be your expectation if you applied for the roster? What would you expect the communication from the city would be?
If I didn't hear anything, I would assume I wasn't chosen.
Me too.
No, that would be an assumption, but I would like to know whether.
I would think we should send a generic, thank you for your submittal. We have received your submittal, and you will be included in our pool and contacted when a project arises that the commission feels fits your artwork.
I agree.
And if you approve the motion that was just made today, will that be retroactive to the 2 or 3 that did not?
Yes.
Okay.
You can't, you have to have it fair across the board.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know why I just said yes, but I'm not in charge, but yes, I would think that would be the right answer.
Yeah, I would think not reject anybody, just keep them in there, and, you know, everybody's a hopeful. And if you don't hear from a while, then resubmit. That's what I would do as an artist. I think, oh, well, I'm not being chosen. Maybe I need to do something different. Maybe I chose the wrong piece to submit. If I'm really interested, I'll submit again until I get voted, get picked, right? That's what I would do.
Okay. Commissioner Melendez, what are your thoughts? would you like to submit or approve everyone who submits
I think
to our pool?
I think the way it went out was to apply for the pool. Like if they don't meet the requirements, then some people got to get kicked out. But then if you're an artist, like we were talking about, my expectation would be is if I submitted and I met the criteria, that I should be somehow filed for a future project. So it makes sense to have an email sent out to the people that made it, which is predominantly like everybody, except there's just a couple that they're just like definite no's. I think everybody across the board picked that there were a few that there's no way. So they should get their own separate rejection letter as well. So everybody's got an idea of where they stand.
I disagree with the rejection letter, just FYI. I think it's kind of mean.
That's what happens. You don't meet the criteria. That's life.
Well, it's just like if you audition for something and don't get the part, you either get it or you don't get it.
It's nice knowing when you don't get something versus not getting the letter that you got accepted. So either way, I feel like if we're going to do one for one and let them know that they're in, the people that didn't get in should know as well.
Should we vote on that?
Commissioner Cagle, did you have some thoughts?
Yes, I like the idea of the rejection letter because I feel like it makes us look more professional and it doesn't, someone's not wondering yes or no, because sometimes you can apply for a job and you don't hear from 6 months later till a year. And I just think it makes us look professional and puts kind of a final ending to who's accepted and who's not accepted.
I mean, we don't have to call it a rejection letter. We can
Right,
just
right.
say it's a
Sorry.
non-admission. You have not been admitted to the pool
Yeah,
to make everybody's
sorry.
hearts a little nicer.
Yeah. I'm
So they
just
don't feel like they're not
mimicking
loved.
your words, sorry.
Yeah. No, I mean, I said that right.
Yeah,
Maybe a letter saying that we received your application.
but it's not working for us right now.
We received it. Your application has been received. Everyone should maybe receive the same letter. Your application has been received, and if we find art that matches your criteria, you will be moved ahead and you'll be notified if you make it to something higher.
That's it. That's a great idea, just to let everyone know that we've got them on file. And then everybody's happy.
And then this way we can just add everyone to our pool without having to go through a comb of each individual artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you like to make that motion, Marcy?
Sure. I'd like to make a motion that for all artists that submit to one of our RFQs, that they're sent a letter letting them know that they are received in the pool and they will be notified if they are moved forward on a project.
Someone like to second?
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Nay. Yay.
Do we need to make a motion to receive and file the artists that have submitted the 58 or 6 or whatever the number is into the pool? Do we need to make that?
Well, her motion was that every artist that applies, receives an email
Okay,
that.
so we don't have to make a separate motion.
I don't think so, no.
Good.
And it doesn't close, I don't think it closes until November, so you could have 200 more, by your next meeting. The only thing I worry about is that, and this I guess it would be great if this were our problem, that, if you have 2,000 artists in the pool, and then you need to select 3, for your next request for proposals, that's going to be hard, but
We can make it like, and I don't know if it's an amendment that once we get to perhaps like 200 submissions, that we have to take the time to perhaps eliminate those that are just there, that we know.
Is there a way that we can
none of us-
extrapolate the data from the cafe website so that we could make our own file of those artists that have submitted that we personally like, so that we can each keep our own folder?
That's a good idea. I had a question too about that. I don't know the capability of the technology, but right now, all 7 of us have made our selections, right? And there's probably a certain amount of 7s and 6s and 5s, right? Is there a way to take those that we've all sort of voted upon and create maybe a new, like a parallel or a separate folder?
Like a VIP group?
Yeah, like
and
a
general.
Yeah, so that way we sort of know, like, so if we're, and every time we vote on like the new ones that come in, the 7, 6, and 5 also get moved into that one.
Well, see,
I don't want to vote 7s. I do not want to take the time to.
I'm talking about the new ones, no.
To rate any of the people.
I'm only talking about the new ones that come in, you would have to vote on. I mean, you'd have to rate them, the new ones.
Why do I have to rate them? Why do I have to?
well, how
I'm
about
going to go
this?
through and look at the artists.
I looked at every artist.
I'm saying the new ones.
I did not vote. I did not rate the artists. I did not have time. Was not able to meet the deadline that Gary set for us.
So let me go back to,
Can I just finish my thought? So, but what I did do when I was where I was is I looked at every piece of art. I read every bio. I read every application to see who. I wrote down what city the artist was from, because you have to consider travel expenses when you're looking, and where they did their art and what type of art. I looked at all of that, but I do not feel that rating the artist is productive. I do not, because first of all, this artist may be fabulous, but they may not be the right artist for this little project that we're doing over here. So I find the rating system to be unhelpful, and I personally don't think it's of any value. Myself, that's just my personal opinion, so.
I felt it very much a value, and I liked it.
Well, yeah.
Helped me stay organized. What I'd like to see is the results of it.
Yeah. We had I looked into 53 artists, and between the time period that was given was 1 week. It kind of gets stressed from our side to look, because it takes at least 20 to 30 minutes per artist, because you're looking at their artwork, you're looking at their bio, they're looking at your comments. It takes that much time for artists. And you don't want to rush into things to choose them, even if you're rating or not rating. So it was pretty much it was a lot of work from my end, I felt. That deadline, that 1 week, and we had to go through 53, 56 artists. And I thought, if you can give us like a password, or we can continuously go through them if they need to be rated, instead of doing this at the last minute and trying to rate them, or trying to at least go through them and give our input to whether we want them or we don't want them, or we want them or however, but we wanted to see what it was. And the time period was very crunched up. And I was like, I worked, I was like literally spending my nights and this thing, and I wanted to finish it earlier because I had other things coming up during the week. So I tried to finish it during the weekend, and it was very stressful. Is there a better method we can work towards checking them all? Like you said, if there are 2,000 artists, then that's going to be difficult for us. And if we have reached like 200, and then we'd stop our call for artists at that point of time, that we already have a pool of 200 artists. But then even going through 200 artists for a particular site would also be not feasible in a particular time. So we have to come up with a more better way to figure this out.
well, so Susan, to your original point about, is there a folder or something you could have? I mean, what I can do is I can send each of you a spreadsheet that would list all of the applicants, and then you could collect whatever information about them that you wanted. So if you want to make a note about, the genre that you really thought they were good in, or where they live, or whatever, so that when it comes time to pick some, you're all going to have your own criteria for what you think would make for 3 or 4 exceptional artists to invite. So that would be easy to do. And then you wouldn't have to score. Everybody can be accepted. And you would have your own way you'd still have to go and look at all of the information, but you could pick your own format for evaluating applications. It wouldn't have to be yes, no, maybe. It wouldn't have to be 1 to 7.
I think that would be I would really like that because, I have so many notes about, what type of art the artist is, what their medium is, what other applications they have other than mural, what cities they come from. Will there be extended travel costs involved and things like that I wrote down after reviewing everything. And I would like to be able to house that somewhere, but that might not, what I think is relevant may not be what Commissioner Klein thinks is relevant, and she may have her own way of wanting to rate things. And that's why we have all these people on the commission, because we all have different opinions and way that we see things.
And Commissioner Melendez was one of you who actually, put notes into the note space, and I found them personally incredibly helpful as I was going through them to sort to look at the folks that he rated the highest first, so that if I ran out of time, I wouldn't have to look at all of the others. And so thank you for all the work that you put into it. But I know you probably all put in the same amount of work. He just happened to put some comments into the system, which was maybe useful for him, but it was certainly useful for me. But this way, you can all, I can send you updated spreadsheets or, whatever, and you can collect the information that you want. And to your point, maybe you don't have to look at every piece of the application. Maybe there's certain things. For example, when we get the 3 proposals that come in, I'm not going to expect all of you to call references, right? That will be something that I'm going to have to do and include that as part of a staff report when we bring to you, the final references. There may be things that you identify in that application as being very important for you when you select artists, but they may not be the same things for all of you.
Which will be great when we come together as a body, because then we can share all of our thoughts and we can all learn from each other.
Is there a way you can have like a report which is where we can see everything at a point of time, instead of clicking on one thing to look at the CV and then downloading it and then looking at the...
You mean like to download a whole application at once so that you don't have to...
And that staff creates a report for us so that we can see everything at once.
So you're saying that it would include the answers to all of the questions and the images in one 500-page document?
Well, in databases, there are ways you can do, but
it is a database that you're looking at.
Yeah, there are ways you can do, but I know there has to be a technical team to work through it, and I was wondering if
but I'm not picturing what you want that would be any more efficient than what's already there. That's the reason why we're spending the money on that system.
No, from the system, because that's the way the artist can put everything together, and that we can pull out important tables from there into a report, and that is at one click. Basically, everything is in there.
So you mean like you'd like to have one report that showed everybody's answer to question number 4, for example?
For example, yeah, possibly, but
that might be possible. We might be able to do that, but I would need to know what you want.
Yeah, like a report that you need to run, kind of like in QuickBooks, right? You run a report. I want to know how much money I spent this year. I want to know my
yes, yeah, something like that.
So,
yeah.
Do you have? Would we be able to maybe have some control on the back end to look at statistics and to run reports like that? as a, because,
Yeah, but we're not collecting any numerical data. The only data that we're collecting are narrative answers to some essay questions and images.
okay. So my question was a little different from yours. I was just expounding on that, on yours. But the thing that I wanted to know, which is still a back end thing, is got a bunch of 7s, a bunch of 6s, a bunch of 5s. I'd love to see what everyone else picked. I'd love to see sort of which one got the highest scores, which one, is there some sort of back end where we can see what everybody liked the most? It'd be interesting to see. Is that something that we can do? Oh, okay. You have a printout of it, I see. Is there something that we can look at on the computer ourselves?
No.
Or no? It's just a printout? Okay.
No, I mean, I have to download it and give it to
I
you.
printed one out for myself, just of what I picked.
Oh, and you're able to do that too?
Yeah, I have.
Within the site, you're able to do that
Yeah,
for
you're
yourself.
You're able
For your
to
own
do
thing,
that.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I
So
didn't
I
know
think
that.
that's, I mean,
It has some
it
good
sounds like,
functions.
even though
I liked it.
it is tedious, we all still have to do our own homework with this pool that we are creating, so that we don't have to do it in this moment here.
Right.
We all have to do our own work, our own notes, our own time.
Yeah.
And that's just
Yeah.
what we need to do so that we can, when a project comes up, we already have our list of ones that we would know would fit and just create that. So I think just moving forward, we have our pool that is being created that we hoped for and that we needed. We will all need to go into our own pages as we do when we vote and just make our own notes and keep our own collections of people we liked, so we don't have to start from zero each time we have a new location that we want to put artwork in. Does that seem agreeable to everyone?
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time, please?
That we will be accepting everyone in to our pool with the acceptance letter. We, on our own homework, need to keep our own files of artists that we like, that we've made notes for, because it is going to become expansive. And so instead of saying, oh, we have this new location, let's look at the pool, and not have any idea of who we have as our top people, we just have to be diligent of our own scorings so that when the next location comes around, we know who we think would be best for that location. Does that sound good to everyone?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great.
And
So that we can move forward.
Can I add to that? Can we make this progressive so that at a given point of time, in 1 week time frame, we are not reviewing 50+ artists?
Is it possible for us just on our own before an agenda comes out that we are able to look?
I think it is. I have to look at how I would set it up, but I believe it will be.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So we can't see this unless you print it and deliver it to us, correct?
Yeah, I don't think you can see each other's scores.
No, you can't. You can only print up, because I was going to try and do that, didn't work. I can only print up my own scores.
Yeah. I
But
printed
as
that
long as
last
we
time
keep up
for
our
myself.
own scores,
Yes.
then that'll help us expedite.
On our own.
Yeah, there's, I commend,
Okay, cool.
yeah, there's
Okay.
comment that.
So thank you for doing that, Commissioner Cagle. Now we know that we have that
comments.
ability,
Yeah.
and that's how we will move forward.
You might like the system. It comes out like a spreadsheet. These are her own, and she was able to put her own comments, and it comes out as a spreadsheet already.
Okay.
So I don't know if you'll need to make one. I don't think we knew this capability.
No, you just go on the
I
site,
would
just
rather
do it.
get, I would like to get it from you if it's not a big, if it's not an
It's not a big
imposition.
deal. It's not-
Then I would like to get it from you.
Okay, so moving forward, we already made the motion of accepting the applicants with the particular message that they will received. So there's nothing more that we need to do. We were just
So
discussing.
was there a second and the vote, and did you take public comment?
I don't know if we took public comment.
we
No.
didn't.
Okay, do we have public comment?
Come on, girl.
Georgette?
Georgette Gantner. I don't want to make it more complicated because I can't understand, but I'm just going to bring it up just because, whatever. why did we not ever do this in the 10 years, 8 years, whatever, previous, or anybody
Right.
else? Why are we having a pool? What I don't understand is, you don't have to explain it to me, but just bringing it up. When we had a project, we put out a request for a proposal, and then the people came to us. Why are you guys trying to make this so complicated that, my opinion, that you have to keep track, and then you have to go back to artists? It's like, well, wait a minute. What if there's 100 other artists that want to also apply to this new project? And then you just deal with everything as it goes. I don't know that this is a good idea. I don't know. It's cool to see people, in the cafe. I love that particular device to see what's out there, but it just doesn't apply to whatever you're doing at the time. So just throwing it out there. Also, I don't know what the Brown Act obligation is in terms of if you have established this as a pool and you've got 59 applicants, are you somehow obligated to show those? Like, why isn't the public able to see who's applying? Because when you have a specific project and we have the specific people applying, it goes up, as a PowerPoint and everybody sees it. So I'm not sure how that's being handled. And what was it? Okay, that's basically it. Just trying to.
Okay, thank you for your input. At least I could reply to some of that. Prior to this, we had a lot of difficulties with staffing and having a cultural manager. So it was up to us to try to find new ways to make the ball roll for us. We knew we had specific locations and artists that we would like to see this happening, and things just were never coming to fruition. So with this pool coming together, instead of always putting out a call to artists and waiting the next 2 months for someone to come in, not knowing if our staff was even going to do that or put that through, now we have a pool that we can say, this has been vetted, these artists have applications, and now we can say this location now can be done by this artist. And to us, that's all we're trying to do, is just put art out there in the most expedited way that we can.
And that's good, but now you do have a facilitator, and by putting the art out with every project, it makes it more egalitarian, because now everybody in the community can apply. I understand you're trying to be expeditious, and that's fantastic, but I don't know that it serves the community possibly as much as it could. That's all.
Okay. Does anyone have any other comments? Okay. Thank you. Okay, so we still have item J. Do we move on to that now? Or do we have to receive and
Have a
file?
comment about making a motion? You said you had a comment about, did we need?
Did you?
We made a vote for Marcy's motion.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so moving on to J3, discussion and possible action regarding one or more permanent works of public art in or near the new transit center. Turn this back to Gary.
Okay, so without going through the 500-year history of that project, the new transit center is open, and I know you're interested in placing art there or commissioning something for that location. So I have some pictures that Susan sent, and ultimately, what you'll need to do is refer this to a committee that will then come back with a recommendation about a location, a type of art, budget, same kind of thing that you're going to do, or I'm going to do with the chair for the Pride
I have a
Commission.
question about that. I have a question about the need to make a committee. I have a question about why do we have to have a committee? Why can't this be the committee? Why can't we discuss this as the body of commissioners and make those decisions globally without having people have to go away and then come back and present and go away and come back? I think it would be more expeditious, and I think it would bring a fuller richness to the decision if we all discuss this as a body and make our decisions as a body, as the Public Art Commission, and not put it to a committee. That's my personal opinion.
That's fine.
Okay.
So how would you like to proceed now?
So as far as what, I guess, this particular J3, what are we hoping to accomplish? Just discuss what we may want to put there? Are we trying to open it up to, we're
What
discussing?
I was envisioning is, so if we look at the transit center and we all see what it looks like now, and we can talk about what kind of art do we want to see there? Where do we want to see it? How do we, what kind of vision do we see there? What kind of budget do we think we want to put there? But we can discuss those all together as this is the committee, not having 3 people go away and then come back. You agree with that? Yes.
Okay. So I didn't come prepared with that. So do we add this to our next agenda?
Can we look at what we have now and then maybe table it for thoughts and at our next meeting, if that's what you'd like to do?
Okay.
I mean, we went and to the opening, we saw it, we went there in person. I have some ideas already just from having been there. And
So do I.
so, I mean, why don't we,
So let's
Just talk
discuss
about it.
And if we need to.
can we show a picture of it? Do you have a picture of the transit center by chance that could go up on the wall? And we could just
Well,
make
I have Susan sent a whole bunch of them.
I sent a whole bunch of pictures that we can all look at, that I took.
Why don't we do that and take,
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
maybe do we have a lot to go? Maybe we should allocate a certain amount of time today, like not to exceed whatever, and then we can roll it over to the next week if need be?
Sure, that sounds good.
Do you think that's, oops, hold on.
Okay. So I guess, Susan, since you, Commissioner.
So
Levin, since you brought these
I
pictures in.
just went and I took a lot of pictures of what the
You want me to just scroll through them while you're talking? or-
transit center looked like. And basically, to me, it's a vast expanse of gray. And what I think we need to do is we need to get some color out there. We need to infuse the whole transit center with color. And I personally was thinking, and I had sent also a couple of other pictures, that doing some ground art where we, for example, can you go back to the first picture that you showed? Keep going. One more. Yeah, go back to that other one. Yeah.
The first of the pictures.
Yeah, that one, the one that you just made go away. The very first one that you showed. No, that's not the first one. There you go. Wait. There you go. Yay. So if you, and the pad that's out there, and then moving, if now you can move to some of the other pictures, if we put color on the ground there, as you're standing in the parking lot looking down, you would see the ground covered with color. And I had sent you, did you load up the pictures that I sent you?
I have the links.
Can you pull up some of those? And also in the mural pool, there's a lot of artists that have ground art on there where they've done either acrylic on cement or other things. Yeah, that's a good one. So if you go down, keep going here, like that. Do you see this one, the Eastland Community Transit Center? If we could do something like that, it doesn't have to be that exactly, but you can see how that expanse of color just completely brightens and makes it a wonderful welcoming instead of the vast expanse of gray that we're looking at. And if we wanted to also we could also, in combination with that, maybe we could do a small sculpture, or maybe we could do a mural on the wall of the actual building that showed, that said Redondo Beach on it and showed some of the scenes from Redondo Beach. Or we could put banners or things, anything that brings color there and makes it a warm, inviting, welcoming immersion in art rather than gray.
Do you have some more pictures, some more links to other artists that have painted on the ground? Does it stay a long time? Do you know anything about that?
So
really cool.
I don't know a lot about that, but I know that there are many transit centers and many areas that do a lot of ground art, and it appears to be quite successful, but I don't know what the process is.
I do like the concept in regards to keeping within our budget of the transit center, and not having to exceed too much into our own public art budget. I wouldn't think that a painting on the ground would.
No, there was.
Oh,
These are great.
those are from Aurora. We did public art on the R line. That wasn't what Susan sent them. I just slipped that in.
Okay, so here's just another example of what color looks like on the ground.
Very cool.
And as I said, in the mural pool, I marked down, but there was a number of artists that some of their work showed this type of application. So, and then one of the other ones I sent a link to was, can you go back to the links that you had so I can see? Well, so the metro, the art metro by location is here in LA. And to go to the very last one, maybe. Yeah. So here, if you click on each little arrow, which by the project, you can pull it up and see what artwork is in those locations.
Did you want to go through all of them?
And then there was one more link that was
Did you say the last one? Did you say you want public
transportation facilities?
The very last one. No, you're on it. I mean, go back to the metro.
Well, here, you click on that, and then we can go back. Let's see what that.
This one?
There we go. Anyway, I just thought it was an interesting website to look at. Also, there's a lot of art in there to look at. I think the last link that I sent you was of a sculpture. Just see the links.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So what was this last one? The very last one at the end of the page. Aurora.
Aurora? You didn't send me that one. That's
you. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, it doesn't matter. So is that one that you did? From where? So let's look at yours.
This one, I think, is a.
Yeah.
This might be a video.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those, I mean, having a sculpture like the one that was just above that as color, so you have color at the top and color on the ground, or color on the wall and on the ground, or a sculpture, something to give a little relief. Anyway, those are just some of my thoughts that I had done a little research on.
Good job. In India, we have on the ground, we do colors called rangoli. Of course, that's not permanent, but we can have someone do like a permanent, beautiful design that way. I mean, it's on the same lines.
Right. So, I mean, if we did something like that, what we just passed, like up at the top above, and then did something on the ground, or if we did a sculpture at the end where the original sculpture we were going to put was going to go, just to have some kind of relief there that gives a texture there. And then, anyway, those are just some of my thoughts of what we could possibly do there that would beautify everything.
Do you envision the sidewalk or the actual road being painted?
No, not the road, the platform where people walk, not where the buses drive on.
Oh, okay, so the sidewalk portion.
And it's quite big. I mean, if you scroll through, oops.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you scroll through, I mean, it goes all the way from there. There's those, all the way down here around this area. This is a huge expanse of walkway here. And you could put maybe something, you know, banners up there if you wanted to, or whatever. These are all things for discussion, but definitely if you put something on the ground there going around in that circle and leading up to the building, especially when you're looking down from where the parking lot is and you walk down there, that ramp, you could even put something on the ramp walking down. It would look real. I think that would look very
So
nice.
Joyce, the transit manager, the one thing she did say to me was that city council wanted to make sure that whatever we did would be viewable by the general public, not just people who were there to use the transit center.
Well, you still have to be on property to view whatever art is there. How else are you going to view it if you're not on property?
It just hovers above.
I don't understand. I don't even understand that
Are
comment.
there certain walls that face the street that people would see, or something on the roof, or I don't know.
I mean, that's possible, but that shouldn't preclude anything else there, in my opinion.
Well, I'm just telling you what
Yeah.
Joyce said. I mean, ultimately, you're going to want city council to approve it. New members
Well,
on
that
city.
was a city council comment when they were first looking at the artwork, the gateway of artwork, that they felt that was too expensive to be in a location where the general public would not be able to see it.
Right.
So I can understand where that comment came from, but I don't think that precludes the fact of having to have art actually in the transit center where for people to see.
Makes
Okay.
I like the idea of the painting on that portion that we're looking at right now. I would be happy with moving forward with trying to find an artist that does that.
I love the idea of that too, but I was wondering is it possible to look at the very front building too? Because when I was there, I was talking with, I think it was John LaRock, and we were talking about, there was like an area where there could be maybe some sort of like sculptures as well. Like there was like something with 3 things in the front.
On the
I
street
took
side,
a
you
photo
mean?
of that.
Like the very front.
The very front,
the
yes,
very
there we go,
front.
right
Yeah.
there.
There, like in the
In those little flower
landscaping.
beds, right? He was talking, you were there with me. We were there together.
He was talking about, you know how like when you see the bus route on the wall, you see like the red line and the blue line and the yellow line, that creating some kind of like piping system that created that look.
I think that would look great. Or if you did a mural or color going up, I mean, you already have it sort of striped out there with the way that the building looks. I mean, there's many things that you can do.
You could tie that in with a mural
Absolutely.
on the ground.
Yeah.
I think a mural on the ground, I never thought of that, but when I saw those pictures, I love it. I'd
There
love to
was
see
one
that.
more spot, which is a standalone where we can have a sculpture, which is right at the beginning.
This is the front page. This is the beginning right here.
Yeah, but it was on this side.
The other side of the building?
Yeah, on this side, but yeah, the buses would enter this way, and there was this open place.
Right over here.
Right over here.
Oh, no, that's
actually.
okay.
Right over here.
Oh, on this side?
Right on,
Yeah,
on
okay.
the road, on this side, I had a picture, I have to
Is it
search
a
that up, maybe I'll
sculpture?
send it to you.
There was a whole bunch of,
I mean, yeah, it was an open space, so I think a sculpture would be a good option.
are you talking about the same, this picture here or in a different location?
No, it was in this location, but the open space was on,
Is it across the way from where the bus goes through?
Is there any other picture that we saw that depicted that?
do you have any other picture which gives you,
That side, no.
no,
What date is that?
So it
Maybe
wasn't
I
on
took some
that side that
pictures.
we just passed?
Do you remember the date?
The one that I took of the weeds, the reason I took that is because I think that area needs to be cleaned up, and I think that area, there's hardly any signage that when you drive into the parking lot off of Kingsdale, you can't even hardly see how you get into the parking lot. I think that's a problem.
Sticking with the mural, I like the idea of the very front of the facade having that color kind of scheme that you were thinking of for the ground.
Yeah.
Like just that whole facade of the front, like what you're saying, like the white panels.
Yeah.
Like something very colorful that goes across that whole front would look really great, giving the look and the color boosts that you're hoping for, and then also seen to the public just by driving by without having to.
So on the wall?
Yeah, like if you could go back to the
around?
very front, the front picture.
The entire city.
So the very, front facade, that, like just everything that's white there, like have an artist make something super colorful that goes across that whole front. Yeah.
What about on the side to the side? Well, or the side, because the side is just a plain wall with nothing, isn't it?
Totally.
It's already like a canvas, right? Where these have those windows on it. I mean, this would be cool too.
Yeah.
But because they have this Redondo Transit, would they?
Well, it'd be like, that would obviously stay. That wouldn't be painted or touched. It would just incorporate whatever this color scape that the artist did across. I think that would look pretty cool.
Can we see the wall? That's just the side wall. It's like to the and there we go. There we go.
It could go all the way around, like if it was just like a colorful swirl of some nature that went all around the building. Without having to paint top to
Whole wall.
bottom.
I mean, if you just did a swirl and then
Yeah.
had it swirl down and had it hit onto the sidewalk and
That
then
would be really
carry
cool.
all the way to
Yeah.
the back, then you'd have it would be like a path of travel, which is what people are doing there.
That'd be super cool.
Yeah, that it painted down to the sidewalk would be cool.
I think that would look very nice too. So
Amazing.
yeah.
Do you think?
the open place I was talking was on the right-hand side, just here. It was the open space for the sculpture.
Oh, okay.
As soon as the bus would enter, right there.
Do the people that do we know anything about if the people that created the building and the design on that would they have a voice in whether we can paint the building or not? Or,
I've never heard of that.
No, it's just that's just an architectural company that they're like, here you go, this is what you
city owns
wanted.
it.
just city
Yeah.
council? Okay.
Yeah, the city council wants it. I like the idea. I wouldn't mind moving forward with that concept of like a colorful wave, like whatever that goes around
Like a
ribbon
ribbon.
that would go out to the sidewalk.
And then carry to the back and just
Yeah.
bring some color back there.
That would
Yeah,
really
that'd be
cool.
super cool.
Yeah.
I like that too. Do you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's a wonderful idea.
Oh my God, do we all agree?
I know. God.
I know.
Oh my God.
Does it go all the way around
Did you
the
say
building
anything?
or
Yeah.
just
It goes
Juan, did you agree?
on the actual building.
The whole circumference of the building?
Yeah, and then
then
onto the ground all around.
And then like up to the parking lot, or where does it?
It's
All the way
juicy
around the whole
fruit
building,
all over.
right?
Yeah.
No, not up to the parking lot, just to the back area. I mean, because there's a road in between when you walk up to the parking lot, you have to.
Okay.
So would we use up all our money with the painting? We don't have any money left over for a sculpture, so probably.
I think that would be
Probably.
That would be it?
more
Okay.
than enough
I
color
think so
Okay,
too.
okay.
to have a
Well, I mean, unless you put a sculpture in a different
I don't
area.
have any idea of what the cost of something like that
Right.
would be. I don't know how to create a budget for that.
I kind of do, because when we looked at all the different estimates from all the different artists, it really came to light what stuff costs, in my mind.
Okay. And there, like I say, there were some artists in the mural pool that showed different ground art.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Maybe go back and look at those again, I guess.
so maybe we should pull those and look at those at our next meeting and maybe, I don't know, come back with maybe your thoughts on a budget, what you think?
Maybe everybody's thoughts, because we could all kind of look at the different prices, right?
Chair Pucci, do you have a thought of what you're thinking of what we don't want to spend more than?
I forget, is it 750? What is the budget that the art or the transit has given us?
75.
75,000. I mean,
Is that money that's not in the public art fund?
It's
Yeah.
not in the public
It's
art
not
fund.
in the public art fund.
It's in the general transportation fund.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind, just because honestly, I haven't asked any artists what this would cost, but put in, is it an RFP or RFQ out for this particular theme and parameter to those artists, and the cost or the amount we're able to do is 75,000. If no one replies, if they say that's not enough, then we increase it. But I mean, that's the money that we have.
Well, that's the money that I mean, if you don't want to spend any money from the Public Art Commission.
I'm just saying it's starting there. I'm just saying it's a good starting point.
It is a good starting point. As I say, I have no idea how much it
I just think realistically, based on like what John Pugh's were, and then some of the other artists that were like even a lot more than 100,000, like there's some of them were 500,000 for very similar things. I think that probably 100,000 is probably a minimum starting point, I would think. I think I don't know, I could be wrong, but this seems like a bigger project than even that one building, because you're going
But
on
it's like a little, I don't know. I'm not going to put down any art, like detail that has to go into it, but we're looking for more of like a ribbon swirl concept versus like detailed
whole
person
wall. Right.
and recreating the wall to look like something's coming out of it. So I'm hoping, because
I also want to comment that we would have, and I don't know how to address this either, but the logistics involved of having to cordon off certain parts of the area to create the art when people are using the transit center would have to be looked at to see how that would work. I don't know how busy the transit center is right now, and I don't know if there's any feeling or objection from anyone to do that. It would have to be done in stages, I would think, so that that you wouldn't impede the path of travel.
yes.
Yeah, it would have to be like altered for a day, you know, like kind of they make one side of the street unusable.
Yeah. So, and I don't know how that works, and I don't, as I say, this is not, I don't know how any of it works. It's just, I'm just going on visuals.
Well, I called Public Works, remember when we were looking first at the train track? And basically it's kind of like Public Works would work with you to stop, to put cones up and block traffic. And so it would be kind of a collaboration with that department.
Yeah, and transportation too.
Is there any research that you would have to do for us to move forward with something like this regarding the logistics of that?
Well, the first thing I'll do is run it by Joyce.
Yeah.
And the transit division, and make sure the concept is fine with them. And then Yeah, and then what you're describing is a real problem, we'd have to talk to Public Works. I mean, there's also the option of, bringing in external lighting and having them do it when the transit center is closed.
Yeah.
They can do it in the middle of the night with enough lights.
Like I said, I don't know, and I don't know what the curing time is or any of those things. So, so how do we move forward now in a meaningful way?
Well,
Public comment.
Oh, we have a public comment? Do you want to let them speak? Would you like to
Right.
give a public comment?
Real quick, I mean, you guys, it's been inspiring to listen to this, so I thought I'd just share something, if you're not aware. Couple ideas. We have a new logo coming up. It's a transit center. We get to brand the city through that in there. I love the idea of the color, everything in that. I'll point to our sister city, Hermosa Beach. They ended up doing something similar on there. If I remember though correctly, you might want to look into it. I think their cost was $200,000 for this. And obviously special paint, so it doesn't pull off all that stuff in there. But I want to put that as an idea, as you're incorporating this, maybe we wait to see what our new city logo is and seeing if that's an opportunity to put on the transit center. The other part, which I probably think is not part of this commission, but you're right, it's really hot and gray out there. If there's any way we could put more trees and stuff like that as well as part of the arts in there, consideration on that.
Okay.
That HB.
Yeah.
In this intersection.
Yeah.
Just that was $200,000.
Don't quote me, I believe that's what I remember being on there. So that's why I just want to put it up in the budget. I'm sure we could reach out to Hermosa to find out how and what they did on that. But I do remember something like, wow, that was a lot. And I think it had to deal with
The high
specialty of the
traffic.
and the high traffic and all that, exactly. So if we're doing it on the ground, that might be something to consider. But thank you guys, I really like what it is.
Thank you.
Forgive me, please, I'm gonna leave this evening,
Thank you.
dinner's ready.
No, thank you.
Really nice.
Thank you.
Would we make a motion to refer to staff to review that this concept that we came up with tonight can be done? Is that the best way to move forward?
Let's, I mean, you can make it a little more progressive than that, I think, and say you want it on the agenda, the next agenda for discussion and approval. And if there are any problems, they'll be identified at that time.
Do we want to pull the artwork or the thumbnails of the artist in the mural pool that had any kind of ground art to look at to see what they did, just as a?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So can we?
And I think they have quotes for theirs too, so we could get an idea.
Yeah, so can we do that too?
Well, you'll have to send me which artists you want to pull.
Okay, I can do that.
And
Because I mean, I kind of made a note of as I was going through, trying to see if something was applicable
Do you
to
have
the
your notes?
transit center.
do you have your notes with you now?
I have some of them with me
I mean,
now.
we can look at one of them just so that
Let's
if you
see.
want.
Let's see what they.
My
paid.
thought is that most of these artists that I gave like a high number to are capable of doing it on a wall or on a street. And I think that
How about,
Probably.
let's see, I can't see. Here's one,
We would just.
Chelsea Hart, 166901.
On the ground, maybe like the Hermosa Beach one, they know like the right curing or what needs to
right,
be
no,
done.
that's true. But I think there's a lot of talent here, potential talent.
Let's see if this was right.
Yeah.
Oh, is this us?
That's cute. So that was 30,000? See, look, perfect.
That's just one square though, it's not.
So then the other one,
That's 61 feet by 56 feet. I mean, that's pretty big.
so then another one was Maureen Walsh, 324638.
Yeah, that's cute. That's very cute. Can you show us, can you scroll through hers, or is that the only one that's on the ground?
That's 10,000.
And that looks on a high traffic area. See, this is all in that.
So let's see. Jason Tetlak, Tetlak, also had something. He didn't price that, so. Anyway, so there was a couple in here, so.
That one was free. Let's fire him.
But
See, that's what I'm saying. I think we could start with that price range
Yes.
of 75,000, like we just saw right now, what these artists were able to do with that. And, you know, if we could be really progressive, can we say we can invite these artists to apply for this concept if it is approved?
Well, and maybe there was a few other ones that we might want to look at as well to see. So
Okay.
maybe if we can, I mean, I can go through and make suggestions for our next meeting.
Okay.
And maybe we want to invite them and do an RFP. I mean, a call for artists.
Do they have to fill out a whole application again to submit for this, or
No, they
we
would just
fast track
have
this?
to do a concept rendering at this point, if they're already in our pool.
So if we only wanted to invite the people from the mural pool to apply and not do a call for artists,
Yes.
we would do the same thing that we did with the
Yes,
other
Gertruda.
artists.
Yes.
So,
And I think that's why we set this up, so we can do these type of, let's get things moving.
so maybe what we need to do for our next meeting is each commissioner bring in 3 artists that they think they would like to maybe invite, and then we can make a consensus. I don't know if 3, 4, 5, whatever number it is.
Now
you
to that
decide.
list, that list.
From a
Out of
pool.
our artist
From
pool.
our list.
Oh, okay, okay.
Pick out our top,
Okay.
can we do 5? Pick up top 5?
To
Okay, top 5, if you wish. You can bring less, but top 5. And from our artist pool, that we will invite to submit for the train or bus station,
transit station.
transit station.
But and then by then, Mr. Margolis will have gone back to the transportation department to get their blessing to see that they're okay with that concept. And if you need to make any inquiries with Public Works, you would have time to do that as well. And then we'd have a lot of information at our fingertips to be able to move forward with something.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yay.
Can I just ask a question of order? So, Mr. Margolis, would you be able to, in between now and our next meeting, speak with them so that when we come to our next meeting, we'll know? Otherwise, we would probably want to not.
Yeah, he was saying that, and then he's like, we could even be more progressive by, already getting this on the agenda to pick the artists.
Perfect. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I misinterpreted that. Great. Sounds good. Thank you.
are you happy with all of that?
Yeah, the only thing I'm concerned about is paint on the ground. I don't know how permanent that is. I mean, I love the idea of a ribbon around the building. If I were going to do something on the ground, I think I would do terrazzo or tile or something that was something mosaic, something that was going to be permanent.
Except that that's going to be
Much more expensive.
way more expensive. And I mean, there's so many public art installations of ground art. There has to be some kind of, there has to be something that we can find that speaks to the durability of it.
And I think it is a little bit better that it's not on the part where the buses are driving. It's more foot traffic. So hopefully, whatever sealant is used, since it's not cars and tires going over it, that footsteps will be okay for it.
They did it at Hermosa, in the middle of the street there.
How long has that been there?
I know a couple of years, for sure.
Is it still looking good?
I think so. Well, it's hard to know because I'm not up hovering above it, you know what I mean? But I walk it on my feet all the time. But I can't remember.
I don't have no idea.
Okay, yeah, I mean,
Obviously it's being done other places. Here it is on a basketball court where he gets the bouncing on it and stuff.
And I know, I don't remember which artist, but I believe one of the artists spoke to the durability. So I'll see if I can go back and find that.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we all love the idea. It looks so cool.
I really think, and it will just make that whole place look so much brighter and more welcoming.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. So what do we got to say?
Okay, I will make a motion to, right, should I make it or do you make it? Can anyone make it?
You can make it.
Okay, I will make a motion to put on the next agenda a call for
To discuss and approve 5 artists, or
you say it.
Would you like me to make?
you make the motion, please.
So I would like to make a motion to add the Transportation Center artwork onto our next agenda, where each commissioner will bring their top 5 artist picks from the mural pool for discussion on a possibility of inviting them to submit. Based on the concept of doing a ribbon mural on the building and transitioning to the ground with some type of ground art that is tied into that. And Mr. Margolis will go to the Transportation Department to vet to make sure that they're comfortable with that, and anything else that he needs to do to coordinate with staff to bring back all the information we have to move forward with this project.
Great motion.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Yay. Okay, so moving
I
on.
found my photograph for the open space thing that I was talking. How can I pass it to you or show it up on the screen? We don't have to right now, but
Should we do it next week? Because we just
Yeah, because we're
close
going
the
to be,
motion.
then I'll
yeah,
send it to you.
yeah,
Next
Next
meeting.
next meeting, next week.
I mean, we got
But
something
you're
else.
talking about an open space at the transit center?
At the transit center.
Well, you've just decided though what you want to do with that.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're not going to,
We are going to do
we're
a
not doing a
sculpture.
sculpture.
we don't have the money to
We
do
don't have the
all
money.
of that.
Okay, never mind.
okay,
Well,
so
if it's as cheap as we think it is,
Jay,
maybe we can do both.
let's move on. Thanks, everybody, that was great. J4, Director's Report.
Okay, let's see.
Mr. Margolis.
I think I have, okay, so I just want a couple of informational items have come in since your last meeting. So this one is from Kathleen. Let me get the slide right. Slide. All right, so from Kathleen Fisher, marketing person at Riviera Village. She says, I was asked to update you on the graphic designs chosen for the asphalt at the bike corrals. Well, here's another painting on the ground, right? I guess that's what this is. Amy Chesmore, who designed the junction box vinyl wraps, created the designs for a cohesive look and to work with the dark asphalt. The design frames mimic the footprints of the corrals. So this one is going, so is my understanding that this is how the sidewalk under a bike corral is going to be painted? Is that the idea? Is that what we're looking at?
I have no idea what this is.
I don't either.
Well, graphic designs chosen for the asphalt at the bike corrals. So is this all new to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't the bike corral circular, though? I'm not, I have no idea where this would go or
We
be.
don't know anything about this.
Oh, I thought you already knew
No.
Okay, so, well, yeah, I don't know any more than what she sent. So this is the design for the one at South Catalina Avenue, and this is the one for 201 Avenue I. It's informational. I mean,
Okay.
It doesn't
So
require-
someone's
They already
Paid to
did
do
that?
this.
It's already done?
I don't think it's done. I think it's, they've picked these
plans.
designs and it's
Part of the Riviera Village Business Association beautification project, I'm sure.
yeah, sounds like it.
Oh, and they just do it themselves, and then
Yeah,
they
'cause
tell
it's
us.
self-paid, and
I
they're just sharing what they're doing.
Great, looks good.
Yeah.
So this is from, this one's regarding the, the art at the skate park, right? So we got an email from the Engineering Services Division saying the LA Kings Foundation donated $25,000 in January of 2022 to support the development of skate facilities. Specifically, it refers to the artwork that was shown in the conceptual drawings before, which I'll get to that in a second. The construction of Pad 10 skate park at the pier is nearing its completion, and that was fully funded through the CIP budget and other funds. The artwork was not funded, and I don't understand that, why it wasn't, and was considered an option for how to use the foundation's donation. We currently have a contract with the skate park contractor, but I don't know if they have a subcontractor for this or if the city would have to work separately with the artist company. I've reached out to them and have not yet heard back. I will update you once I hear from them. And then their questions are, were there any projects that were previously earmarked to be funded with that donation? And if not, would this artwork on the skate park be something you would administer? So that's a problematic question, because if they mean something that we, city staff, and the commission would administer, the answer would probably be no, because it didn't go through your process, right? And so this is the artwork.
Well, maybe they just didn't know about our process. Could they bring it to us, and would it be something that we want to do? It's like all painting on the ground now. It's like a theme for the night.
That's pretty funny.
It is, right?
Everything's painted on the ground now? Is that what you just said?
Everything's painting on the ground. It's like,
Well, and this is a similar concept, because when you look down, when you're standing up above and you're looking down at the skate park, that's what makes it so interesting to see that ground artwork like that.
Yeah.
If you're standing up like where you're coming down from Kincaid's, and you're going to walk around to the internet, to go down the ramp to the International Boardwalk, you can look down at the skate park from there.
very cool. Is it something, can we ask them to come to us?
Wait, so are they just asking for us to fund this? Is that?
No, I don't. This is what I think. I think that this, that somebody did this design, and that the artwork donation was $25,000 to do this design. But so there has to be an artist who did that, and they have to have known, somebody has to have known what the cost was at that moment to have created the amount of funding. There has to be and there was a lot of press about it in the papers, in the Daily Breeze and the Beach Reporter, the Easy Reader. At the time when all this happened, there was a lot of press about this. So
It sounds to me like whoever designed that art and the contractors did so without knowledge that it could be funded. Because it says there was $25,000 that the Kings donated for the support of skate facilities. And it mentioned the artwork, but
see, I thought the $25,000 was specifically for the artwork.
well,
No, I thought it was like that. It says to support the
it
development.
sounds like
I know
it
what
could
this
be.
is. Pardon me?
It sounds like it could be for the artwork.
Well,
And that's why they're asking, were there any other projects that were previously earmarked to be funded with that donation? So obviously, if the city had already decided that that $25,000 was going to be used to fund something else, then it
And the
wouldn't.
city must have it in some kind of escrow or whatever account, however the city does it, that where it's earmarked for something. So the $25,000. So shouldn't it say
why-
there what it's for?
If that were the case, why would engineering
I
be
don't
asking
know.
community services? Right? I mean,
Don't know.
yeah. Yeah.
And look, that was only $25,000 that they
It's a
thought
perfectly
art could have been done. See, we're going way overpriced.
Well, the thing is that this looks like a great project for us to do if they need the help. I guess, I think they're kind of reaching out and saying, well, they're kind of asking us, would this be something that we would do? To me, that's what I'm kind of reading. It's worded weird.
And Mike Witzansky's office, Elizabeth House, or any of those people wouldn't be able, Lori Koike wouldn't be able to shed some light on this somehow?
I could ask.
I mean, maybe one of them would know something about this.
And maybe Charles would know. Just ask Charles, right? What the intention of the letter is. I think the intention of the letter is unclear. Are they asking us to put it through our process or not?
Well, I mean, I think.
Do we know who the artist is? Do we know anything
We
about
don't know
it?
anything. And I mean, some artwork has to go there. I mean, somehow it's the
there's a
perfect
conceptual
location
drawing, right?
for an artwork.
There's a conceptual
Great.
drawing there, right? So somebody has done it. Somebody has gone through the whole process of everything.
Would it be a perfect project for us if the ball's dropped and no one's doing anything? We could take it over and make it happen. We're already in the mode of like getting paint on the ground.
Exactly.
So seriously, it's like it's right in our wheelhouse right now.
Right. This is all.
We could get like
we have a theme for the evening.
Yeah. Should we just pocket this and come back to it? Table this one and come back to it, or
Well,
put it on the
we have to
agenda?
understand what it is.
Can we ask staff to contact the writer of the letter and find out more, and then present it back next week? And possibly, if they're interested in putting it on the agenda to ask us for money, have them come in and do they have to come in to be put on the agenda?
No.
Or just ask them to ask us to put it on the agenda?
Did you have a public comment, Georgette?
Some years ago, some artists came to us and just said, it was on a private piece of property, and they said, we have this idea, and they presented it to us, and the result was the apartments or condos on Aviation, almost as you're traveling north, and you get to,
Where the mural is.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they just came to us and they said, we want to do it. And we said, oh, that's fantastic. They funded it, boom, it was done.
Yeah.
So if you find out, yeah, this is real unclear. If you find out they want to do it and you've got that design, I would say, because you're trying to, just say, do it.
Yep.
Do it, but you pay,
Yeah.
I mean, as long as council approves it.
Yeah,
But
I thought that's what needs to be made clear. Like, are they asking us for funding or telling us they're going to do this and this is what it looks like?
They're responding to an inquiry from Gary that we generated by sort of touching on artwork at the skate park. Is that not correct?
No, I think this wasn't a response to any
Oh,
inquiry.
you didn't make an inquiry?
No, I think
Oh.
they were ready to
Oh, good.
move on this, and this was sent to
good.
Cameron and Kelly last month.
Because we've sort of talked about this peripherally ever since they started talking about doing the skate park.
I mean, this is city property,
pier.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so this is different than condominiums.
Yeah.
right. But if there's a donation, thank you, George.
Yeah, thanks.
If there was a donation made by the King's Foundation, which it says that there was, that money has to be somewhere, and it has to be earmarked for something. And
Well, no, those are two statements. One statement is true, the other statement is maybe not true. The money does have to be somewhere, I would agree with that. I wouldn't agree that it was earmarked for something.
so the Kings just gave us money, and it's sitting there, and it could be used for anything?
It says that it donated to
Right.
support the development of skate facilities.
Okay.
So however they use that, whether they
use it
use
for
that to build
helmets.
the ramps
I
or
see, I
whether
see.
they build that to
But
engineer
but it
the.
also
But it's
sounds,
already done, the skate park.
it sounds like that 25,000 is still available. And it sounds like they're asking us, do we know if it's been earmarked for something else?
I see.
Well, that's how I'm reading it.
You're
And
probably
if it
correct.
hasn't, will we administer it? Okay, I'll follow up with Cameron and I'll tell him that you're all very interested in moving forward on our year of ground art.
Ground art.
Okay, are there more comments on this or should I go on?
No, you can go on.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so budget recommendations, we talked about the utility boxes. The last I heard from Spin Imaging, he had 5 of the 6 images. Like I mentioned at the last one, he needs to do all of them in order to make it economically feasible. But it looks like by your next meeting, we should have 6 new wrapped boxes.
Yay. Perfect.
The Public Works mural. So I invited the 3 artists that you asked me to invite. And as of today, I've heard from all 3 of them. And they're all very excited about submitting proposals. I don't have that timeline with me right now. I think their proposals are due sometime next month, and then it'll come to you at your July meeting. So you should be seeing 3 proposals in July. Gatewave. So I'm waiting for Vulcan to submit his new proposal for the new location. He said that he thought he would have it this month. I haven't heard from him this month, and he's been pretty communicative, so I'm not sure what that's about. But it'll go to City Council as soon as we get it, right? And there's a place on their agenda. And then just a couple of things in the strategic plan. The City Council's updated strategic plan I wanted to mention. They are expecting a report about the responses to the RFP for the concessionaire for the Historic Library by July. They're looking for a report about the creative placemaking for public art on Artesia by September. So I would like to be able to bring something about that to you in July as well, especially if it has to go to them by September. And then this is new. They want you guys to make recommendations for locations and design concepts for large horizontal signage at key city points. I think Riviera Village was one that was mentioned. I'd have to go back, and this is the language that's in the strategic plan. If they had identified any more specifics, we'd have to go back to the meeting and actually listen to what individual folks said. Yeah, that's it for me.
So can I say something? Can I ask you, so when we do our next update, can you give us, because I'm sure you don't have these at your fingertips, but can we get an update on what's happening with the Ito family open space? And the Glendale mural ordinance, and when we should expect the issue of considering a mural ordinance to come before the Public Art Commission for review? And an update on the Fulton Playfield infiltration project, which we had looked at doing a mural on the Ringe sewer pump station there. And it was stopped because of the infiltration project in the Playfield, where they were going to dig everything up. And they were going to interact with the neighborhood to see how they wanted to redesign some of the areas surrounding that. And it was hoped that we could be a part of that when they do that, so that we could include a mural there at that moment. So those are 3 things that I have on my list that are still pending, that it would be nice to get updates on all of those included when you do your next update to us at our next meeting. If you like, I can send that to you in an email.
Okay. Great. Are there any other comments?
Oh, from me? No.
Yeah, okay. Item K, member items and referrals to staff. Does anyone have any referrals to staff?
Shockingly. So I'd like to let everybody know that the last CA 101 Contemporary Art Exhibition will be held again this year at the Historic Library.
Oh, the last.
And we will be opening on Friday, August 25th, and we will run for 3 consecutive weekends. There will also be included in the gallery this year, we will also have a gift shop. Currently, there is a call for our artists out for both the art for the gallery and for the gift shop. There's 2 separate call for artists. Those are available on the Friends of Redondo Beach Arts webpage. Submissions are due by June 30th. And we're very excited. This is going to be the last CA 101. It's 10 years. It's our 10th one. We're going to do a big grand finale. And then the next art thing that we do, we'll do something in a little different format. But this format is going to be retired as we move on to something new. But we're really excited about this year, and we're very grateful to the city to be able to have it again at the Historic Library. So
Yeah, that's a great space.
yeah,
for it.
so.
Anyone else have any announcements? Okay, then adjournment time. I'd like to adjourn this meeting at 9:07 p.m. The next meeting of the Redondo Beach Public Art Commission will be regular meeting to be held at 7 p.m. on July 26, 2023 in the Redondo Beach Council Chambers at 415 Diamond Street, Redondo Beach, California. We are adjourned.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. All right.